The Nigerian Presidency has confirmed that President Bola Tinubu will soon undertake a cabinet reshuffle. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made this announcement to State House correspondents during a briefing at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja on Wednesday. Onanuga said while there is no specific timeline for the reshuffle, the President has expressed his desire to proceed with it. He further indicated that the reshuffle will be informed by empirical evidence from performance reports that the President has received over the past months.
So cabinet reshuffle, let me tell you, I don't have any timeline. The President has expressed his desire to reshuffle his cabinet, and he will do it. I don't know whether he wants to do it before October 1, but he will surely do it. So that's what I will say. He has not given us any timeline when he wants to do it, but he will do it. He has expressed his plan. He wants to do it. He wants to reshuffle. The President actually gave an order to all his ministers to go out there to speak about the activities of his government.
We'll bring you more stories from Nigeria shortly, but first, let's bring you up to speed on the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York City. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo delivered a passionate appeal for global unity. He urged world leaders to embrace multilateral solutions to address pressing challenges, including climate change, inequality, and global governance reform. The presidents of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Liberia also shared strong messages during the assembly.
Addressing the session today, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo decried the treatment of Africa in the global scheme of things. He said the world must view Africa as an equal partner and not as an afterthought. President Akufo-Addo insisted that the UN Security Council, as presently constituted, is not representative of the world and does not reflect current global realities. He said the UN has failed to act decisively in times of crisis.
The structure of the Council reflects a world that no longer exists, and its failure to act in times of crisis raises a difficult question. What is the purpose of the Security Council if it cannot intervene when the world needs it most? Reforming the UN Security Council is a matter of fairness and necessity. The current structure created in 1945 no longer reflects the realities of today's geopolitical and economic landscape. Africa, Latin America, and South Asia remain underrepresented despite their significant influence on global affairs. This lack of representation undermines the legitimacy of the Council's decisions, and the use of veto power by a few permanent members often paralyzes its ability to act effectively during crises.
Multilateralism and the respect for a global rules-based system have been the essential pillars that have supported peace, security, health, and prosperity the world over the last 80 years.
With the president of the DR Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, also lending his voice to the calls of the others who had spoken earlier, this has become a growing theme by African leaders at the ongoing 79th United Nations General Assembly.
78 years since its formation, the structure of the United Nations Security Council remains largely unchanged. Africa and its 1.4 billion people remain excluded from its key decision-making structure. This cannot continue. The UN Security Council must be reformed as a matter of agency.
The time is right for Africa to be represented at the UN Security Council. We have the numbers, we have the economies, and we have the future. The future belongs to Africa.
With other African leaders who will speak in the days ahead likely to echo the call for reform, it is becoming clear that Africa is bent on making its case. The focus will now be to see if these growing calls would materialize into firm action at the end of the 79th General Assembly. For News Central, I am Chooks Ene.
At the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Zimbabwe's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Frederick Shava, delivered a speech on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. In his address, Shava underscored the importance of this year's theme, calling it a reminder of the collective responsibility to strengthen global cooperation. He urged the United Nations to prioritize the world's most marginalized population, emphasizing that sustainable development cannot be achieved without peace. Shava also condemned foreign interference in the internal affairs of sovereign states, stressing that no nation should impose its governance model on another.
Quote, leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations, unquote, is so relevant and timely. The theme is a reminder of our shared responsibility to build a world that is inclusive, a world that is just and sustainable. It is through collective action, grounded in solidarity and mutual respect, that we can advance peace, foster sustainability, and strengthen multilateralism, as well as uphold human dignity. In this spirit of unity, we must prioritize the most vulnerable and marginalized populations, ensuring that no one and no place is left behind in our pursuit for progress. Sustainable development cannot be achieved without peace, and peace cannot be sustained without addressing the root cause of conflict, chief among them poverty, inequality, intolerance, scarcity exacerbated by climate change, and unwanted and unwarranted external interference in internal affairs of some states. By investing in education, healthcare, and sustainable economic opportunities, we can create resilient societies that empower individuals and communities to thrive.
Let's also tell you that the 2024 Global Business Africa Initiative brought together influential African leaders from government, business, and the civil society to explore economic opportunities across the African continent. Now, this event aims to strengthen partnership and promote investment in Africa's diverse market. News Central's Chidima Ona shares more details in this report.
The push for sustainable development in Africa has been a key part of major conversations among African leaders. It spurred the recent Global Business Africa initiative held in New York. In the fireside chat with Aliko Dangote, he emphasized the need to accelerate trade in Africa and enhance agricultural infrastructure.
When you talk about Africa, the biggest thing about Africa is agriculture. So now, how can we talk about agriculture being the biggest in Africa if we don't produce our own fertilizer? You know, so in the last couple of years, in sub-Saharan Africa, we had zero fertilizer production, which is urea mainly. And both ourselves, we now built 3 million tons capacity. There's also another company, Indorama. Indorama also built another 3 million tons capacity. So we're able to make Nigeria self-sufficient, and we're able to serve other African countries, and we export up to US.
We meet at a crucial time.
The Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, and Moussa Faki, chairperson of the African Union, in their speeches urged African nations to prioritize sustainable development goals, outlining a vision for unity and encouraging international partners to recognize Africa as a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship.
The first of these areas will be unlocking inclusive growth through trade. the African Continental Free Trade Area offers a framework to create the largest single market in the world. And we're going to explore how to break down the barriers, foster economic integration, and build regional value chains, ensuring that no one's left behind, especially our amazing women and youth and our marginalized communities.
From its rich and diverse cultures to its vast landscapes and the resilience of its people, Africa's story is one of determination, progress, and unwavering hope. Africa is also a continent of economic opportunity and must claim its ambition to drive innovative solutions and contribute facing the world's most pressing challenges.
My country, Nigeria.
In his keen yet gentle speech, Nigerian economist and current serving president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, spoke on bridging several technological gaps between Africa and the world.
We need data. Without data, you don't have AI. So building that whole data ecosystem, and that's one of the things we said we'll do together, is important. Second one is just the skills, right? The skills, we need to have science, technology, engineering, mathematics, have a lot more women or girls actually going into these fields to remove another divide, which is gender-based divide in that particular area. I think that's important.
Initiatives like this that bring together influential individuals and decision makers from various sectors play a significant role in unlocking Africa's ultimate economic potential and sustainable development. In Lagos for News Central, Chidinma Ona.
Earlier, our correspondent Bernard Akede was in New York for the 79th United Nations General Assembly, joined us.
It was quite an engaging conversation. Unfortunately, we had to leave there at some point to come to the UN building to continue the conversation from here. Now, the lineup of speakers, very, very impressive, and the conversation itself was top-notch. Now, you did mention, yes, that, Mr. Adesina talking about certain things that he wanted to, that the youth should be able to do, and that pretty much cuts across all conversations that have been had. A lot of young people did speak. Mr. Adesina also, I engaged him not long after he gave that speech, and another thing he talked about was a Project 300 that he mentioned, where he and some other group of people are looking to bring electricity to over 300 million people across Africa. Because knowing that if you want to bring development to any part of the world, the first thing you need to do is to power such places. And now besides that, we spoke to people like Masai Ajuri, the sports guy who talked about still engaging the youth. We talked to the president of the Africa Basketball League, who also talked about the power of youthful engagement, and almost everybody else. The CEO of Trace spoke about how youths across Africa in the entertainment industry are putting forth so much energy in music, such that African music is beginning to do better than the music in the United States, so he said. However, one thing was common that all these people said, that if the right infrastructure is not put in place, first of all, by the leaders of African countries, such that investors like them can find, a fertile breeding ground for their businesses, not much will be able to be done. So it has to be a collaboration between the government putting down, tangible, so to speak, a proper breeding ground for investors to do business, so that things can go better for Africa.
Now back to Nigeria. The Senate on Wednesday confirmed the appointment of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Following a screening, the confirmation comes after President Bola Tinubu, in a letter read during Tuesday's plenary by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, sought her appointment. In his letter, Tinubu expressed confidence in Kekereekun's capabilities and urged the Senate to expedite the confirmation process. During Wednesday's session, Kekereekun emphasized that all pre-election cases must be resolved at the Court of Appeal. She also expressed a firm stance against corruption in the judiciary, promising to maintain zero tolerance for any form of misconduct.
Put the
question. Will the Senate approve the nomination for confirmation of Honorable Justice Kuridat Kekerekun for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Kuridat Kekerekun for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria is hereby approved.
I think the first thing in giving my CV, I said one of the things that I'm known for is integrity. I'm also known for being strict on discipline. And therefore, in order to ensure that the integrity of the judiciary is maintained, I will ensure that the code of conduct is fully complied with. I will ensure that there is zero tolerance for corruption.
Turning to corruption matters now, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the alleged money laundering case brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to October 30th, 2024. The adjournment follows Bello's move to the Supreme Court, where he has filed an appeal challenging the arrest warrant issued by the trial court on April 17th. At the proceeding, Bello's counsel, A.M. Adegboye, informed the court that the matter of his client's arraignment is now part of the appeal entered at the Supreme Court. He further highlighted the affidavit of record filed on September 23rd in support of this appeal. In politics, former President Goodluck Jonathan has stated that the outcome of last weekend's governorship election in Edo State highlights that technology alone cannot resolve Nigeria's electoral challenges. Jonathan emphasized that the key to overcoming these issues lies in changing the human mindset, expressing concern that many Nigerians still have a negative attitude towards politics. He called for a shift in the citizens' approach to governance and electoral processes. The former president made these remarks in Abuja during a program organized by the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution and its partners in commemoration of the International Day of Peace. Jonathan further noted that the ongoing struggle for power remains a major driver of conflicts across Africa. Earlier, political analyst and a former national coordinator, Middle Belt Patriots, Zari Yusuf, joined us for more on this.
Well, thanks for being here. Coming from former President Goodluck Jonathan, I couldn't really agree more. And from his place, he did mention something about attitude. I would say that he demonstrated something, even though he wasn't a perfect president, but he demonstrated something that gives him the moral ground to say what he said, which I agree with 100%. I was not part of, and I'm still not part of those who would celebrate simply because there is technology, there is the use of beavers and all of that. It's unfortunate that we are in a situation where the process, the system itself has been perverted. As a matter of fact, not only would I say that technology would not solve the problem, but I would say that even a free and fair election under this perverted system will not work, will never reflect the will of the masses.
Let's also tell you that traders in Benin City, Edo State, have taken to the streets, demanding that the EFCC investigate the alleged diversion of a 100 million naira grant provided by former Governor Adams Oshiomhole, the 2021 president of the Union's Welfare. Lucky Orukpe said their petition, submitted in August 2021, has yet to receive any response from the EFCC. He added that the traders are growing increasingly frustrated with the anti-graft agency's inaction on the matter. In a recent development, Blackie Ogiame, who was accused of receiving 200 million naira, denied the claim but acknowledged receiving 100 million naira, where she said was distributed across 3 districts. Addressing journalists in Ekiosa Market in Benin, Ogiame clarified that the 100 million naira was donated to the association by Oshomale's administration during its end-of-year ceremony in 2013.
2021, I was here to submit petition to EFCC, and this is the copy of the acknowledgement. In 2021, they did not act on it. And EFCC said, when you see corruption, you blow whistle. Yes, sir. Even when we blow the whistle, because of the person involved, they decided not to answer us. But before we move to Abuja, EFCC office, it's very important we come to Benin office to remind them that there was a petition against Blackie Ogiame in 2013, and we submitted in 2021 here. 100 million naira was released for Blackie Ogiame to disburse to poorest of the traders in 18 local governments of Edo State, the 3 senatorial districts. To my best of knowledge and to our research as a traders welfare union, as a human rights and civil society member, our research in Edo North, nobody benefit from that 100 million. In Edo Central, they give one woman 50,000. The woman is around to testify. In Edo South, nobody benefits. So we want the EFCC to investigate how Blackie disbursed the 100 million, the process that he have used to disburse it, and how many market women benefit from the 100 million. Of recent, the governor that released the 100 million, Adasale Oshomole, he said it's not 100 million, it's 200 million. But we want, as a principal person that released the money, EFCC should invite everybody, including the human rights. We want to see the list of the people that benefit from that 100 million. This is the petition I submitted in 2021. This is the reminder. I want to say thank you, sir. This one is the one we submitted in 2021. That people acknowledge with your stamp. So this one is a fresh one. Reminder.
Let's head to Borno State, where a delegation from Salvation Ministries Church, but Harcourt, Rivers State, has visited Maiduguri, the state capital, to donate food and non-food items to victims of recent floods. Leading the delegation, State Pastor Duke David used the occasion to urge the Nigerian government to incorporate academic research into its policy-making processes, particularly in disaster management. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports that the pastor emphasized how research-based decision can greatly enhance the government's ability to address the needs of vulnerable population.
I'm here on behalf of David Ibiyomi, the presiding pastor of Salvation Ministries. The church is based in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. He heard about the flood disaster that happened here and tried to send relief material. So we are here today to present the relief material. As you can see, the truck behind, we are here for the relief material to give to the flood victims. I believe from research, nothing happens suddenly. For anything to happen, there are signs. Just like when rain wants to fall, you see the cloud will gather. So I believe that students that have been doing research would have come up that there's a likelihood of flood happening. So I will advise the government to pay attention to researches. So when students come up with research, don't take it for granted because nothing happens suddenly. There's always a premonition before anything happens. So my advice to the government that you should take the researches seriously and things like this will be averted.
Christian leaders in Nigeria are urging the government to hold accountable those instigating civil unrest and fostering disunity within the nation. This call was made during the 2024 Nigeria Caritas Day celebration in Abuja, themed Giving Back to the Community. Now, News Central's Joshua Imarai has more.
Caritas Day celebration with the theme Giving Back to the Community kick-started with the Thanksgiving Mass at the Catholic Secretariat Chaplaincy in Abuja. Addressing newsmen after the Mass, The Catholic Bishop of Bukhari Diocese urged relevant stakeholders to champion peace-building initiatives among citizens.
Nigerians are so divided, and most of these conflicts are motivated by division. So they will need to do a lot in terms of peace building, peace education, and also to work on data gathering. Our people suffer a lot, but we don't know the extent of this suffering, the level of the suffering of our people occasioned by poverty, by bad governance, and by other natural and other factors.
While bemoaning the current state of insecurity in some parts of the country, he urged government to take charge of governance and bring instigators of civil unrest to book.
I think there's something really wrong with governance in Nigeria. There seems to be absence of governance. For us to move forward as a country, I think we have to come back to the drawing board.
The Executive Secretary of Caritas called on Nigerians to touch the lives of fellow citizens with empathy and compassion.
So I want us, my brothers and sisters, maybe I'm preaching about it, but that's what I think that will be the lasting legacy, that we are moved to compassion for people's needs. As much as it's possible for you, you may not be able to do everything, but as much as it's possible, do not leave anybody asking for your assistance without some little support.
The Caritas organization called on government at all levels to focus on humanity in all their policies and activities. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
Coming up, Benin Republic arrests 3 men accused of planning coup. We'll tell you more about this after the break. In the education sector, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government of Nigeria to address unresolved issues dating back to 2009. In a statement on Wednesday, ASU President Emmanuel Oshodeke called for the swift conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 federal government ASU agreement based on the Nimi Briggs Committee's 2021 draft agreement. ASU also demanded that the release of withheld salaries from 2022 strike, expressing frustration over the government's perceived lack of commitment and use of delay tactics. The union warned that these actions are fueling a crisis within the public university space. Primary school teachers under the Federal Capital Territory Administration Local Education Authority on Wednesday barricaded the entrance of the Abuja Municipal Area Council in protest. The teachers, who turned out in large numbers, allege that area councils within the FCT have failed to pay around 60% of their salary arrears for the past 25 months, despite numerous appeals for payment. Now, News Central's Joshua Imarayi has more.
Teachers under the Local Education Authority in Abuja. These teachers are protesting over an unpaid salary backlog of about 25 months.
We are here to express our displeasure over what the area council chairman is doing to us. The primary school teachers are being neglected. We want to appreciate the Honorable Minister of FCT, who has agreed to help the area councils, and he paid 40%. And he said the remaining 60% the area councils should go and pay. But as I'm talking to you now, none of the area council chairman has paid a dime.
My deputy just mentioned the 25 months minimum national minimum wage arrears. In addition to that, the earlier primary school teachers have not been paid the 35,000 naira wage award. Their counterparts from the UBEB and SEB have been enjoying theirs since the implementation.
They say all attempts to speak with the chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council have remained unfruitful.
When
whenever we come to seek for our dialogue with our chairman, he never give us audience. Like today, before today, we have met, 2 weeks ago, we have met with the director, admin, AMAC. So why we are here today is to remind them, to tell them that we have come to occupy a space. If other counterpart of UBEB, that is Universal Basic Education teacher, will be enjoying benefits, and these teachers are our junior. Like me, I am a deputy chairman teaching in the school, and my allowances, my rights are not given. Then what do you expect me to do?
The demands of the teachers under the aegis of the Nigerian Union of Teachers here in Abuja still remains the same. We are demanding that there are 25 months of arrears being paid for them to return back to the classrooms. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
In the meantime, students at the Federal University of Transportation, Daura, have been cautioned against drug abuse and exam malpractice, emphasizing the importance of adhering to the university's rules and regulation. This warning was issued during their recent matriculation exercise, the first of its kind since the university began academic activities in 2023. Now, News Central's Amadine Oyi reports.
The first matriculation ceremony of the Federal University of Daura in Daura, Katsina State. Since its commencement of academic activities, the university, a specialized institution, has been unable to hold a matriculation ceremony. Members of the university senate, including its students, were all adorned in their colors. The vice chancellor of the university urged the matriculating students to be law-abiding and abide by the rules of the university.
I would like to call on the student to make sure that they abide by what you call the matriculation oath. Because today, as you formally become members of this prestigious institution, I urge you to embrace the core values that this university stands for, as they will not only guide you through your academic journey, but will also shape you into the leaders of our great nation tomorrow.
He urged them to keep away from drugs and examination malpractice.
You must therefore avoid all forms of social vices such as drug abuse, cultism, examination malpractices, and stealing, and be the good ambassadors of your family. I admonish you to utilize the opportunity provided to you by the university and your parents.
The students took time to express themselves with the dance, displaying Nigeria's unique cultural heritage. Some of them say the occasion will forever remain a memorable one.
It was very impressive and interesting, actually, because for a while, since we've gotten to school, we've not been matriculated, and now we are matriculated, and we are really happy about the matriculation, and we are really appreciating the effort that the VC is making to see that yes, the school is progressing and more achievement will be coming by the grace of God.
We are very happy, and after we take this oath, we will try to see that as we embark this journey, we will try to see that we have unlocked our enormous potential. That is to graduate with best results.
The university was established through a partnership between the federal government and the China Civil Engineering Construction Company. It remains the only specialized transportation university in West Africa.
Let's also tell you that residents of Ogunagba local government area of Abia State expressed optimism that the proximity of the only hospital in their area will make access to healthcare more convenient. They are also hopeful that being a government facility will lead to reduced cost of medical services. News Central's Chinwe Ugele reports that Chidima Oti, the wife of the state governor, officially launched a medical outreach program at the hospital.
3 days, citizens from Abia State are entitled to free Medicare in any area of health concern, courtesy of the Abia State government.
On a do corner before you check your own hospital. You can help Bakwa card, make one handles on the layer. So on a do no corner Macalobo government hospital. On a work at the private hospital. Me na Kennedy meta, obu free. Upon a niketa, Oga whether di free dada. So Oga Pukalaga we nego Oga yede much carry a hospital does. I don't know, I don't know. I work on a Modiga. Even I got for a operation, a gym. I am a Chineke, but I am Jineke, in your governor. Chineke, Melayo, the Reba, and I am a mobile.
During the flag off of the health mission and commissioning of the eye center at the SDG Multi-Purpose Hospital in Ogunabo local government area of Abia State, wife of Governor Oti Chidimma, who represented the governor, said the medical outreach and the establishment of the eye center are testament to the unwavering commitment of the governor's administration to catering for the health of the people.
The high poverty rate, lack of health insurance, and medical personnel leaving the country in droves are worsening medical care for Nigerians, especially in the rural areas, which lag behind even further with fewer healthcare workers. This and more informed the decision of His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti to quickly ensure that we have a functional Abia State health insurance scheme.
The governor, through his wife, also assured of measures being put in place to protect the facility as government spares nothing at improving the health condition of the citizens.
The governor had dedicated 15% of the budget to health care. That shows the importance of the health care to him. Definitely, huge resources are required to secure and maintain a place like this, and also to staff, the hospital adequately. So,
for his part, the Commissioner for Health, Professor Obondaya Uche, said that the necessary equipment had been acquired and put in place at the hospital for the outreach as well as take care of the eye center. Also speaking, the administrator of Abia State Eye Health Management Bureau, Betty Emeka Obasi, says government's desire to have a healthy population informed the decision to provide affordable health services to the masses. In Umuahia for News Central, Chiwe Ugele.
In other news, the United Kingdom has announced a commitment of £4.7 million over the past 3 years to support the Nigerian government in combating multidimensional poverty in the northwestern region of the country. This announcement coincides with the conclusion of the UK's expanded Social Protection for Inclusive Development project, which was implemented by Save the Children and Action Against Hunger across Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna and Jigawa states. Now, News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu tells us more.
Crisis in Nigeria.
This is a close-out meeting of the UK aid-funded Expanding Social Protection for Inclusive Development project, which was implemented by Save the Children and Action Against Hunger. The head of governance and stability of the British High Commission says that Nigeria has the highest number of food insecure people in the world, a situation that prompted support from the British people.
15% of the population at the moment face critical food and nutrition insecurity in 2024. It's been getting worse with an additional 8 million people into poverty this year. Nigeria has the total number of food insecure people in the world, in terms of total number in the world. The UK has backed the $800 million World Bank loan for social protection at the World Bank Board, including the rollout of temporary social safety nets.
From 2019 to 2024, which have really focused on supporting the government of Nigeria and its subnational counterparts to strengthen the existing social protection systems, both at the federal level and at state level.
Our collaboration has yielded remarkable results for women's empowerment, inclusion for children, persons with disability, and promotion of safeguarding risks, especially gender-based violence.
The Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary of the Zamfara State Ministry of Justice, who was present, reeled out the impact of the UK aid on beneficiaries.
So there are a lot of, likewise the disability law. We took a study tour from Sokoto, Jigawa and Kano toward the development of the bill, you understand, and it has been accepted to by His Excellency the Executive Governor. So there are a lot of programs, likewise the cash program. They supported the Zamfara State government, they piloted 2 local government, Tsape and Maru local government. They benefited in their cash grants. So we really appreciate the effort and the support given to the Zamfara State government. So our attention has now been focused towards the poverty alleviation and the victims of banditry in the state. Particularly, the state government is taking the kinetic measures toward the curtailing the menace of banditry and other criminal acts in the state.
The British government pledged to continue supporting the Nigerian government and its subnational bodies in its various social protection drives. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Staying in West Africa, prosecutors in the Republic of Benin have confirmed the arrest of 3 prominent individuals, including a Presidential Guard commander, on suspicion of plotting a coup d'etat. The other 2 suspects are Oswald Homke, a former sports minister, and Oliver Boko, a businessman with close ties to President Patrice Talon. The special prosecutor at the Benin Court for Financial Crimes and Terrorism, Elam Matonu, said the alleged coup was planned for Friday, September 27, 2024. According to Matenu, the commander of the Republican Guard responsible for the president's security was allegedly enlisted by Homke and Boko to forcefully overthrow the government. The authorities are continuing investigations into the suspected plot.
Du 23 au 24 septembre 2024. Un peu après 1h du matin, l'ancien ministre des Sports, M. Oswald Homke, a été interpellé au moment où il transmettait 6 sacs remplis de billets de banque au commandant de la garde républicaine. Des premières investigations. Il apparaît que le commandant de la garde républicaine, ayant en charge la sécurité du chef de l'État, a été entrepris par le ministre Oswald Homke pour son propre compte et pour le compte de M. Olivier Boko, à l'effet d'opérer par la force un coup d'État dans la journée du 27 septembre 2024.
The Senegalese government has announced that it will present its much-anticipated financial review on Thursday, 6 months after coming into power with a pledge of radical reforms. President Bassirou Faye and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko will run on a platform of social justice, sovereignty and leftist Pan-Africanism. In March, raised public hopes in the face of rising financial cost of living and widespread unemployment. Now, since assuming office in April, the president tasked the Prime Minister with conducting a comprehensive review of Senegal's financial situation. According to a statement from Sonko's office on social media, the presentation, which would be open to the press, will outline the identified challenges and detailed measures aimed at addressing the inherited economic difficulties. Let's shift our focus to East Africa, where Tanzanian opposition leader Tundu Lissu has announced plans to sue the government and the telecommunications company Tigo over an attempted assassination in 2017. The lawsuit comes after recent revelations that Tigo shared Lissu's mobile phone data with authorities in the weeks leading up to the failed assassination attempt 7 years ago. Gunmen ambushed Lissu at his home in Dodoma on September 7, 2017, riddling his car with bullets. The prominent government critic, who was shot 16 times, was flown to Kenya and later Europe for extensive medical treatment. To date, no one has been prosecuted for the attack, which Lissu has long blamed on the administration of then President John Magufuli.
Amsterdam, nimemwambia una mamlaka kamili ya kulianzisha. Kulianzisha dhidi ya Millicom, Tigo na dhidi ya serikali ya Tanzania. Peleka kesi kwa sababu sasa tuna ushahidi wenye mashiko mahakamani. Sawa sawa? Wamejisema wenyewe. Hicho kitendo nilichofanyiwa cha kushambuliwa namna ile kiliniumiza sana. Kiliniumiza sana. Kimenifanya kilema kwa maisha. Siwezi kuvaa viatu vingine visivyokuwa hivi. Siwezi kutembea sawa sawa. Natembea na risasi mgongoni.
The Israel Defense Forces announced on Wednesday that they have successfully intercepted a drone launched from the east towards the port city of Eilat. Reports indicate that a second drone fell in the vicinity. The Islamic Resistance of Iraq, a pro-Iranian armed group, has claimed responsibility for the drone strike. In related developments, IDF spokesperson Agari reported that death toll from Israeli strikes on Lebanon has risen to 51, as confirmed by the Lebanese Health Ministry.
באילת בעקבות חדירת שני כלי טיס בלתי מאוישים. ספינת זרוע הים הרתה אחד מהם והשני נפל במרחב נמל אילת. יש שני פצועים קל במקום. במהלך היום המשכנו לתקוף מהאוויר ברחבי לבנון. מטוסי קרב תקפו מאות יעדים ברחבי לבנון לגריעת היכולות והתשתיות של חיזבאללה. עד כה תקפנו בשלושת הימים האחרונים מעל 2,000 יעדי טרור. אנחנו ממשיכים לתקוף, לא עוצרים ובמקביל נערכים להמשך. היום גייסנו שתי חטיבות מילואים למשימות מבצעיות בגזרת הצפון.
And that's a wrap on the news at this time. But before we go, another look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Bola Tinubu has indicated his intention to reshuffle his cabinet. Ghana dear presidents have joined calls for Security Council reforms at United Nations General Assembly. We also told you that Senegalese government is set to present long-awaited financial review. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch us live across these platforms. That's DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Dapo Adegboye. See you again at 6 West African time.